management. And I kept getting worse and worse and worse, and my health was failing. And I was a young person, um, not really understanding. I've been dieting my whole life. I know you look at me now, you're like, oh, what is this young gentleman dieting for? Let me show you me now. But I will openly discuss that I was a much, much, much bigger man, obese, which is something that this country is truly struggling with. 50% of Americans are obese. 80% of us are overweight. I'm neither right now. I'm actually right within my weight standard, at the upper end, and I'm trying to get to the lower end, but not in any way that you guys can even like contemplate yet. But I have a very healthy BMI. I have absolutely no diseases. Nothing. I just went to the physician and it came back A-okay. I came back with my cholesterol good, not just good, great. Literally, the physician was like, "This is going to be the shortest amount of time I've ever had to deal with someone at your age group." He goes, "You're on no meds. You have no symptoms of anything." And they ran every blood panel they can think of. I was like, well, run the vegetarian blood panel. They're like, we don't even have that. I'm like, well, you want to check for this, this, and this, and we can go over those numbers at either on this video or a later video. But the relevancy was that I changed my lifestyle to include changing my diet, to eliminate every lifestyle disease that you can imagine out there. High blood pressure, diabetes type 2, fatty liver disease, joint pain, inflammation, arthritis, kidney function, obesity and overweight, poor digestion, bowel constipation, diarrhea, depression, all these things. I had these, and I had these for decades, and I reversed everything in weeks. Most of it within weeks. It took me a little bit longer for my weight to find a different weight point, but not from dieting. I didn't go on a diet. I didn't go on a calorie restriction diet. I ate as much of anything I wanted, but and there's a caveat to that. As much and as many times a day as I wanted. I put no restrictions on the amount of food I was eating, and I was always full, and I was, no, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes at work, I'm like, I'm hungry. But most people get that way after 4 or 5, 6 hours of work. And I work a pretty active job. I walk over 5 miles a day at my job, including doing other physical activities and actions during that time period. A lot of bending, a lot of stooping. But my focus here isn't really to talk about me, other than to give you a history that I know what people struggle with when it comes down to having these diseases. People look at a skinny doctor and like, how can this guy talk about being overweight? He's never had to deal with obesity. He's never had to deal with diabetes. He doesn't know what it's like to go to a restaurant and be struggling and be served crudité, and say, hey, oh, you're on a diet? We got a crudité platter. It's the most biggest insult that a restaurant can give someone is here's crudité. But they're trying to do well. They really are trying to do well. But the messages are mixed out there about what healthy diets are and healthy food is and satiation of food. And so we're going to go over some of this today, and we're going to go over it, I think, a little bit more and more and more in detail. The one thing I ask for people is to leave comments. If you want, describe a disease you're having, leave me a comment of what you'd like to hear, or why you'd like to hear these messages. The message that I'm going to share is that most of these diseases are lifestyle diseases. That's it. They're just lifestyle diseases, and we can change our lifestyle and change our life. We can extend our life by decades, not by 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. We can reverse these diseases. Reverse them where they're non-detectable within your body. Doctors say, well, there's no cure because the diseases will come back if you do this. Well, I'm going to discuss that about how one thing can make you sick, and then you can stop doing that and you can get better. But if you go back to doing what you were doing, you make you sick. It's kind of like if you hit your hand with a hammer. Doctor, my hand hurts. Stop hitting it with the hammer. Okay, look, my hand doesn't hurt. But you go back to hitting it with the hammer, your hand's going to hurt again. So the goal here is lifestyle changes to stop hitting your body with a hammer. Okay, and we're going to, and it's hard. It's not really supported within the American society, but it is going to be. The number one thing really affecting the financial failure of this country is our healthcare system. We consume more healthcare products in this country than every other one, and we're the sickest, and we have the highest cost of medical care. And it's unsustainable. It's literally unsustainable. So you're going to hear me, you're going to hear other gurus or people trying to assist the world, doctors, physicians, and there are doctors and physicians. This data that I have came specifically from doctors and physicians, and that's not all of them. There's a problem within the healthcare community about disease management and not really disease prevention. That you go to a doctor once you're sick and they manage your sickness. If you can prevent the disease or if you can cure the disease, they don't continue down the routes that they have. But their education has only been in management of diseases, not curative and preventative. So we're going to go over the curative and preventative aspects of healthcare, and in conjunction with your physician, who's going to be able to monitor you, and he's going to be able to maybe even learn from you. And I think that if enough of us came back to our physicians with this type of data, they would start changing. Their education system is really 100% based and financed by the medical industry of treating your symptoms, whether with surgery or drugs, medication management, surgical management. They don't concentrate in disease prevention, disease causalities, and that's it. Okay, so that's that. I was I'm still a little hesitant, but for a long time I was hesitant for fear of ostracizing myself from the world to make these types of videos. They're like, you know, Joe, you've always made videos that anyone can watch or anyone would want to watch because they'd be a little bit interesting. But then I found myself not really, I don't want these videos to be about me. I want them to be about helping people live better lives. I've come to realize that I'm not the same as everyone. We're all very different people. And not everyone likes everybody. You know, some people like this set of people. Some people like this set of people, this set of people. I hope to find a community of like-minded people who want to better themselves physically, emotionally, live their best life, being happy and healthy. That's what I'm, you know, if it makes me happy to make these videos and to share that, and knowing that I'm causality saving maybe a few people and giving them an extra 2-3 decades of their life, then it makes me happy to know that. So I'm going to do that. I mean, if I end up with a community of 1 out of 10,000 people who like my videos and wants to participate in an active, caring lifestyle, and I'm not just going to talk here. I'm going to do food prep, and today we're going to do some food prep, or at least show you what the food that I eat in a day is. And that I'm not just sitting here eating raw vegetables. I know you look at me lean like, what is this guy eating? I guarantee I eat more than most people in America, volume-wise, and yet I'm still healthier and at this BMI. And I do not work out crazy amounts. I just don't. I ride a bicycle as my primary source of keeping my legs limber, but it's an e-bike. So a lot of the effort comes from within the e-bike itself, not just like I'm sitting there pedaling like a maniac up hills. The machine's doing most of it, but I am pedaling. I walk at work, and I work out on a heavy bag and have some light weights, not okay. And I'm going to show you that I'll show you photos in future ones that I have lost hundreds of pounds, eating as much as I want of anything I want. And people are like, that's impossible. If I eat anything I want, I gain weight. Well, the thing is, you have to know what you want to eat. But I do not eat rabbit food. So, you know, just raw lettuce and raw carrots. It's just not who I am or who I ever want to be. I eat hearty, very hearty, large portions all the time. Yeah. So this channel is going to be my attempt to pass this message and maybe find a like-minded community of people who want to interact. So please leave messages and comments. Please like and subscribe. That will help me along. There is a cost to me producing these videos. Not asking anyone to facilitate anything like that. But if you like, comment, and subscribe, that helps my channel immensely. The comments could be, hey, way to go. Or if you want to discuss or have a future video discussing, hey, listen, I am suffering with this. My doctor is telling me this. Now, I am never personally going to contradict a doctor unless they're doing something that I think is dangerous, which rarely happens. But I'm going to add information to the information you're getting from your physician. I'm going to add healthcare. It's up for us to guide our physician. Everyone goes to a doctor to get guidance from the physician, but it's up to us to guide our physician and what the needs are. If you're a diabetic and you want to decrease your insulin levels, or your type 2, cure it, and it is curable based on changing your diet, and other lifestyle diseases, then we can just make comments of that, and I'll go make a video specifically towards catering towards that. Maybe even we'll send some emails out there in the future, get maybe a newsletter list, or if people want to be notified of when the upcoming videos are, I have to look into that. Maybe there's a way that I can stream that or notify I guess the notification to subscribers will let you know when people go live. So if you want to hear some of these videos and you want me to really discuss something, just put it in there. Change is not easy, but it's essential. The healthcare system's crumbling under the weight, pun intended. It's crumbling. It cannot afford to do what it's doing. You go to, and this isn't just for the elderly. This is for the youth. I want the youth to make these changes too. I'm of an age group where I remember a healthier version of America. I'm Gen X. Cusp, just gotten there, but there is, hey, that's my dog. Knock it off. She will join us in some videos because I love her. I love her greatly. But this message isn't just for elderly. The youth of today are overweight and obese at a rate that's unprecedented in any country. Hey, sorry about that, guys. I don't want her barking. I love you. I love you, my little one. Come here. Come here. Come here. Say hello to the people. We're talking up here, dog. Yeah. Here is my doggy. She's not so little. I love her greatly, but can't have her barking like that in the videos. We'll manage that in the future. Maybe I'll put her outside. So this isn't just for the elderly. The youth of today are showing these diseases. I have seen in my time that diseases that didn't really exist in my school are now in the schools. And we can totally stop, prevent, and reverse this. And it's getting harder and harder. When I was growing up, there was maybe 1 or 2 generations of factory food, and we're going to go over what that means to me. And now we're like at 4 generations of it, and people just don't know. And I've gone on a very, very big journey in life to figure out what the proper way to eat is and why I decided that this is the proper way. And historically, this is the way we've always eaten. I've traveled half this planet. I've been blessed. And in doing so, I've seen so many cultures, not just the United States. I've traveled half this planet. And every continental state within the United States, been to every airport. I've worked in healthcare. I've worked in design and development of the software products that are used currently in healthcare. I myself have been involved in healthcare and physical therapy, working with physical therapy and chiropractors. I've worked in burn clinics. I've worked in hospitals. I was a medic in the Army. So I have a history of healthcare, as well as software design, as well as the ability to travel. And so I have a good understanding of the cultures and the different needs of our society. You know, I have worked within healthcare. I'm not just talking winging this and just talking off the, off the cuff here. This is important to me. I chose physical therapy because I didn't believe in medication and surgical management. Even though in physical therapy you are doing surgical rehab. I would have prevented, and in dealing with a lot of these patients, I got a lot of the knowledge that, or saw a lot of the problems within the healthcare system. Yeah. So we're going to discuss change and the change in lifestyle and basically diet changes. Americans consume more medication than the rest of the world combined. We have the worst health, the highest BMI, the most surgeries, and the worst outcome. What does that mean? The outcome, like people will take medications and still die from those diseases. A lot of these drugs do not even enhance the amount of time that you're going to live. They just enhance the results of the test. Like, oh, the test is now within normal limits, but you had 2-3 years to die or live, and now you still only have 2-3 years to live because the disease is still there. If surgery and medications don't have a better outcome and diet changes do, have a better outcome, which ones do you think your physician should be recommending? Not every physician has this knowledge, though. So I'm going to encourage people to find physicians that are willing to work with you for these changes in your life, that not only will they be supportive of it, that they're going to be supportive of it in their diagnostic, they're going to be supportive of it in monitoring and decreasing medications as required, and that they are going to be on board with trying to share some of these data points about dietary changes, the causes of your diseases, and then how you can technically cure them. Not technically, cure them. If there's no trace management and you have a healthy diet and you're not doing calorie restriction or anything like that, the diseases are cured. Cured means, well, they won't come back. Well, once again, you hit yourself with the hammer, the pain's coming back. Stop hitting yourself with the hammer, pain goes away. Okay, so you can call that, and diseases are the same way. Everyone's body, you get a scab, the body heals itself. You get a scar on the inside, the body can cure diseases. It can cure wounds. It has to be given the opportunity. And what we're going to know at the end, hopefully some of these discussions, and just truly understand, is that we are in a cusp of what we're currently doing is making us sick. And we can just change what we're doing to make ourselves better and stay better. We can also change what we're doing and avoid and prevent. So if you can avoid, prevent, reverse, and cure, that's the route to go, as opposed to medication. But it's people are like, well, that's a little extreme, that's not realistic. I've been doing it for over a year. Very realistic. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea here. I think it's important to work with the healthcare community. I think education of the healthcare community into prevention and cures is important. I think the management systems, I'm not going to disparage what they're doing because that's what they've been educated and trained to do. But if you went to your doctor and said, I want a cure for this, they're going to say, well, I can't provide a cure, but I can manage the symptoms. Well, okay. Well, then I'm going to go to somebody who can help me cure this. And that's kind of what I did, except I didn't have anybody to go to except the internet. And I put years into this. I'm also, a fairly practiced, I don't want to say chef because chefs have to come out of schools, but I used to go by Chefy Effie. I used to be in a competition, barbecue chef, and I do not eat products of that nature anymore. But I'm culinarily gifted, so I was able to figure out not only what to eat, but how to eat large amounts and satiating amounts, why I'm eating these products, and how to make them taste good. Relatively easy. I do not spend all my day cooking. Most of the things I prepare are prepared in 15 minutes for the entire day. I don't like cooking 2, 3, 4 times a day. You can if you'd like. But everything I make is 10, 15 minutes and I'm ready to eat. Yep. So this is not to talk bad about our healthcare system. Our healthcare system is doing what it's been designed to do. This is going to be in addition to our healthcare system. And I want that to be a very clear message out there. I think physicians provide a very valid service to the people, but there is ways to guide your own healthcare to prevent and cure diseases, and that's what we're going to discuss. I basically eat a low protein, and there's a very specific reason, low protein, high volume diet of whole foods, no oils, no salts, and there's a reason I did that. Yeah, that's what I eat. Rice, beans, corn, millet, peas, potatoes, bananas, pears, apples, pineapple, leafy greens, colorful veggies, you name it, fruits across the board. I eat all these products every day. Sometimes some this day, sometimes some that day. Actually, I've kind of been on a kick. Today is a rice dish. Today is a bean dish. Sometimes with leftovers, I'll have rice and beans. Often it's both. Sometimes it's not. Where are you getting your protein from? This is a very, very quick. I get this question right off the bat. I've gotten this from healthcare providers. I get my protein from the same place the largest animals on this planet get their proteins. Elephants, giraffes are vegetarians. They eat plants. People are like, yeah, but they eat for 20 hours a day or 12 hours a day. True. They're also 2,000 pounds, 2,500 pounds. I eat everything I need to, and I'm a healthy BMI, cooking 15 minutes a day of just plants. Okay, when you say the word protein, what is protein? Protein is actually a conjoinment of the essential amino acids. I know it's a little techie here, but basically we take the protein down, we break it down, and our body consumes amino acids. It doesn't consume something called meat. Meat is a form of proteins. You can get the same amino acids from plants. That's where all amino acids originate in plants. You get the amino acids from plants. They're eaten by the animals. The animals then we eat sometimes, and we get basically access to the amino acids. We can cut them out and just literally eat the plants. On a well-balanced diet, that means we're not doing calorie restriction, and we actually have balance of different foods. Not very hard to eat rice and beans, a little bit of broccoli, and a slice of apple, and you have every vitamin, every mineral, every amino acid that your body needs for a healthy diet. And you don't have to eat. You don't have to eat all the amino acids every day. You can have rice today, beans tomorrow, and a big plate of broccoli, or not, or a small plate of broccoli, on the third day, and you're still getting all your amino acids. That's the way the human body works. It takes what it needs from when it gets it, stores it, and actively utilizes it. Why don't you eat fat? Well, I was trying to lose weight, and my body stores fat, so I wanted it to burn the fat. Why would I eat fat if I'm trying to lose fat? People say, well, you need omega-3s. You need omega-3s as works as a blood thinner, and the reason your bloods are fatty is because you're eating fat. So, yes, you do need omega-3s in your system if you're eating a large amount of fat or you're trying to process fat. But where does omega-3 stem from? It stems from plants. How come you find it in fish in high doses? Because they eat seaweed. You can eat plants, get your omega-3s. You can eat, so I'm not talking here like you have to cut this product out of your diet. Small amounts of it are okay, but I don't use any of them. I do no additive, and I eat actually low-fat foods. I don't eat really nuts, no avocados, because they're high in fat. And then I find no need to them. When I was growing up, avocados didn't really exist in the human American diet. That's something that's been added to us, brought in by the factory systems of our food systems. It's a new product. They were able to get it to market. People seem to like it, and they sold it to you. It doesn't necessarily mean, well, it's healthy fat. There's no such thing. The healthy fat, your body can make fat. Your body knows how to make fat. It can actually take all the extra calories that you're consuming and turn it into fat. It takes a lot of energy to do that, though. So what your body prefers to do is store fat. You eat fat, it stores it. Like if you're eating fat and carbohydrates, and pretty much everyone in America does, your body's going to burn the carbs, store the fat. If you're eating any sort of excess in calories. If you're losing weight, you have empty. We got so many things to discuss. So I don't eat it. And I think I look great. And yes, my body does still have fat on it, and it's healthy. There's lots of different types of fats, right? There's the visceral fat right into your skin, subcutaneous under your skin, visceral fat. There's intramuscular fat, the fat that bulks up your muscles. You'll find fat on the inside of your organs, which is where people get fatty liver diseases. Their pancreas starts functioning poorly. Diabetes type 2. Doctors say, you can't process the sugar. And so decrease the amount of sugar you're eating. The reality is the insulin resistance is the pancreas creates the insulin. You're getting insulin resistance because of the fat in your diet. You can cut the fat out, and almost within days, and they've done this study. They've done this study with type 1s where they had to regulate the insulin so they could do pure management of seeing how much insulin a person needed. People on no fat or low fat, no fat diets used half the amount of insulin. So even if you have a poorly functioning pancreas, you cut the fat out of your system, you're going to need, we're going to go over that. We'll go over that in a whole nother video. But basically, a low-fat diet will allow the insulin in your system to work more effectively, which means that you won't need as much management of it. It also helps, and we'll go over in the blah, blah, blah of how it will basically that it's not a sugar problem when you have type 2 diabetes. It's that's a symptom. Right. So the problem is that your insulin's not performing correctly in your pancreas, and you have insulin resistance, and that's due to the fat in your system. It just is. That's just the science. We'll go over it on a whole nother video just specific towards that. But I'm going to just mention different things here. Arthritis, if you let your body get to the point where your fingers are crooked, you cannot reverse that. There's certain points of damage within your system that you just can't reverse with diet. But what you can do is prevent the inflammation, the current inflammation. If your bodies haven't morphed and haven't had sustained damage, your body can reverse almost every single thing out there. Inflammation is usually caused by what you're consuming. There's something within your system, and I'm sure you've heard you can do elimination diets, this, that, and the other thing, and see what you can bring back. But almost everybody is cured on a whole food, plant-based, no oil diet. I do no salt because I worry about kidney function. I do low protein because I worry about kidney function. As we get older, in most cases, half our kidney no longer functions. That's just a normal progression. But you can, doesn't really matter. You can give up one of your kidneys. You know what the first thing they do when you have poor kidney function is tell you go onto a low protein diet. What does that mean? And we're going to go over what that means. Where are you getting your proteins from? Once again, those are just amino acids. Are you getting enough? What percentage do we really need? A baby's mother's breast milk is about 3 to 5% amino acids. Why does that matter? A baby is doubling in size roughly every 6 months to a year, and it only needs 3% of its 5% of its calories come from amino acids, proteins. So a full-grown adult that's not doubling in size literally can eat 5% of their caloric intake could be from proteins, 3% even. 3 to 5%, we'll just say. You can eat that low of your caloric intake coming from the amount of proteins, and you're going to be fine. That's just it. So the protein deficiency doesn't really exist if you're eating enough calories and you're getting the right food products. If you're starving yourself, you can have a protein deficiency. But other than that, it doesn't really happen. The real elderly who are on drip and feed tubes, they're getting protein deficiencies. They're getting enough calories. But people are still feeding themselves and eating a bunch of different foods that do not have protein deficiencies in this country. It'd be very, very hard pressed to eat a mono food. I guess you can eat a mono food, one food product, and just be missing a few amino acids. But that's not a normal healthy diet. A normal healthy diet is based on eating a variety of different products, and that's it. You're healthy. Yep. I eat a low glycemic index foods, which means so carbohydrates, sugar is a carb. Everyone knows that. Carbohydrates are found in beans, rice, potatoes, fruit. And what a low glycemic versus a high glycemic form of food would be rice, low glycemic, where a tablespoon of sugar, they have the same amount of carbohydrate in it, but the tablespoon of sugar is going to be a high glycemic. Your body has to respond and responds to that spike of instantly available sugar way faster than a complex carbohydrate. Complex carbohydrates are the way we're designed to eat. Food refrigeration has only been around, and factory food's only been around since like the 40s and 50s of 1940, 1950. World War II came about. We started doing more canned food, more food prep. Refrigeration, King Cullen, I think, was like 1955. Prior to that, we ate basically food staples: rice, beans, potatoes, rice, farm food. People are like, well, we eat beef, very small amounts. There was a goal back in 1920 something. One of the presidents was like to increase the chicken consumption per family per week to 1. That was a goal to increase put out by the poultry division or the meat division, sponsored by that. Prior to that, we eat less than that. Very small amounts, very small amounts. So peas pour is hot, peas poured cold, pea pour is in the pot 9 days old. That's basically a reflection of what people ate. We ate a lot of soups and porridges, and you go out into the farm, you get some leafy greens, you get some tubers and roots, you throw them in a pot. You had some rice and grains in there and potato, and we survived off of that. The Irish survived off of potatoes. In World War II, they survived off of potatoes and cabbages for a decade, and they had some of the healthiest reported healthiness of the entire populations based off those diets. There are countries that basically went down like, well, during wartime, all the animals, they were used by the military, and so we changed to eating what we fed the animals, which was grains. And basically at the end of that, they did, because we've always kept track of the medical data. The medical data showed that these populations that did that were way healthier, eating the plants as opposed to eating the animals. This diseases just went away. They just went away in entire large groups of populations. How about the Inuit? The Inuit are not a large group of population, and they're not very successful, and they die very early in life with a lot of diseases. And that's the old version. The new version is the standard American diet, and they have obesity beyond belief. cardiovascular disease beyond belief. They're not a successful large population, but they do need the natives who still live that lifestyle do need those high calorie days because they are living at negative 32 year round. That's in it. Like no one does that anymore. Not nobody. No one's an absolute, but you understand what I'm saying. I really, really want to reiterate this. Any change that I recommend here in your diet should always be checked with your healthcare system and physician that you're currently under. I do not want to come at this sideways. It's a very important role that they're going to provide. They're going to be able to do monitoring and maintenance. My goal is to help you get cure some of these diseases, and you should find a physician that's on board. If they say, if you think you can do this and make these changes in your life, I will be on board with decreasing or eliminating your medication management as the symptoms disappear. And a lot of them will roll their eyes at you thinking it's unsustainable, but I'm proof that there's not. Okay. And there's a lot of people out there like me. And we're going to hopefully build a community doing that. So my goal is to get the physicians on board with giving people options. Say, listen, we can either help you cure it, give you the knowledge base, and as well as addressing and managing the symptoms as they are really required to. But if people are willing to commit to making small changes, and hopefully we can steamroll this into a movement in America, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be really, 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 really good. My goal is to provide a happy, healthy people access to live food. That's really my goal. Some of this education process will be me talking about live food. There's a need for live food in your life. I'll tell you about any management systems that I have to put in place to make sure that I'm getting all the proper nutrients and bacteria, keep my gut healthy. I drink kombucha on a regular basis. I eat things like kimchi and sauerkraut, which is basically a spicy cabbage dish made by the Koreans, or of course the Germans make a sauerkraut. Well, many cultures do. Kombucha is an upcoming, basically, drink alternative to sodas that I find absolutely delicious, and it's a good form. It's just so you're not drinking water all the time. Good access to a live food, probiotics. I'm a big believer in probiotics. I go to work and I hear people discussing their elderly parents. They're needing to take time off of work, so they're losing money to care for them. They're on dialysis. They have diabetes, dementia. You can avoid dementia, by changes of lifestyle. This is live. Anybody can jump in and make a comment and say hello, just for the record. No one has. You can. I don't eat olives or avocado. They're high fats. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I see people are having trouble managing their elderly parents. They're my age and they have to take care of their parents, and their parents are so ill, and the only thing they have are these drugs that aren't helping them get better. They're not living comfortable lives. They're on dialysis. They're on, which may be a little too late to make changes, but some of them aren't, and they just have poor kidney functions or this and that. If they were able to change their diets within days, weeks, months, they would be able to have a better functioning elder within their home. And with simple education, as I say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to be doing. We live in a lifestyle of diseases that are caused by excess. People are like, well, if I ate all the right foods and I eat all those right foods you're mentioning, how come I'm not healthy? Because you're also eating all the bad foods, the unhealthy foods. We live in a society of excess, so we need to cut the excess out. If you stop eating, it's once again, stop eating foods that are harming you. That's like stop hitting your hand with a hammer. Your body's going to stop hurting, and it's going to be able to heal itself. And independently, some of these foods on the shelves, are just too calorie dense. The calorie density of these foods matters. Eating a couple cups of rice, which is 2/3 water and 1/3 dried rice, right? And when you make it, it comes out to you a moisture-ridden rice is very different than eating dry rice crackers. Dry rice crackers, you're going to overeat because of the volume, right? So a cup of dry rice crackers is a third of a cup of dried rice cooked with water. So you're going to overeat calories. You're not going to get enough the proper nutrients. They're going to be prepared differently. Yeah. So low sodium. I also filter my water here. We have hard water in this town, and that gives my kidneys really, really good kidney function. I have no problems with my kidneys. But once again, I eat low protein. First thing a doctor will tell you, nephrologist will tell you, you have kidney function going a low protein diet. Kidneys are not supposed to work as hard as they do. They are working so hard, and in America, half our kidney function's dead by the time, we're elder. That's because our kidneys are working overtime all the time, and they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. I'm drinking tea, by the way. All amino acids originate in plants. Omega-3 fatty acids originates in plants. Cut out the middleman. Eat the plants. 3 to 5% of your calories. How do you regulate that? I don't even calorie count. I don't food count. I just eat. I eat whatever I want, specific foods. Potatoes, rice, beans, salads, cooked vegetables, steamed vegetables, fruit. I have this product called ice cream I eat almost daily. I eat half a pineapple a day, a couple of bananas. Sometimes people like, your sugars must be out of control. No, not at all. Not at all. They were when I was eating the standard American diet. They no longer are at all. If you eat any bean, any grain, a couple of stalks of broccoli, and a piece of fruit, you're going to get every vitamin, every mineral, every amino acid your body is required to live a healthy. And if that's all you, for a happy, healthy, disease-free life, if that's all you ate and you weren't putting in these other toxic foods or foods that make your body respond in negative ways, then you're going to be living healthy. I mean, it's just that simple. But that sounds boring because people only know rice as white rice. They only know a potato as a fried potato or a baked potato with sour cream. They only know, fruit juices that have been pasteurized. They only know, broccoli that's been dipped in butter. Ugh, for me. Sorry about that. Is my food boring? No, not at all. If we put the demands on the food and restaurant industry to make these changes, if they went in and 1 out of 10 people said, hey, listen, do you have food that's prepared with no fat, all plant-based? I don't care if it's steamed. I do care if it's fried. I do care if you put butter on it. Please keep the butter off. Please put the salt on the side. Can you prepare a dish with no salt or low salt? They might say no. But if we put this demand on the restaurant where 1 in 10 people or 1 in 8 people or half of us were asking for this, they would make that pivot. They would. The restaurant community does not currently have the knowledge base to cook this way. They're trained to cook out of French culinary institutes or American culinary institutes, which put a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, and a lot of fats. They're like, well, that's what people want. Sure, it's very addictive. So that's what people think they want. But the reality is if people had a more natural and balanced diet, they wouldn't want that. I eat those foods now. I'm not enjoying it. My body doesn't feel good. I don't eat them. I eat the way I eat. I rarely go out because the restaurant industries don't normally support it. When I do find one that supports it, I do want to go there and support them. I can go eat myself a sandwich with banh mi, julienne vegetables, some seasoning on it, throw in some bean sprouts, and I could be happy with that. Or in a wrap, or even lettuce wraps if I'm being super strict. But if I don't care, I put some beans and some rice in there, make a big burrito. In California, you go for a burrito. A lot of these burrito shops, they're all vegetarian. And you have to pay extra now for the meat. You come out here to where I live and you go for a burrito and they're all meat-based. And if you want to put some vegetables in there, some beans and rice, they're charging you for it. That's nuts. They're charging you for the cheap stuff to upscale because most people are anticipating the meat. The reality is you get a nice, really big burrito with all the plant-based materials in it, and they charge for the meat extra. Oh, you want some chicken, you want some beef, or you can just leave it out. Most of them just come out vegetarian. You leave it out. The sauces are delicious. They've learned to change their culinary cooking techniques to meet the demands and needs of the people. Most 50% of them don't ever get the proteins added on. They just don't. You don't need them of animal flesh added on, because you are getting all the proteins from all the vegetables that are in there. And sometimes the sauces have the fruits, and it's just insane, like what you can learn to make when you change, what the demands of the people are. I don't eat fake meats in general. I'm not saying I don't occasionally. Of course, everyone occasionally has cheats, but I would say I'm almost 100% eating plant-based, but almost. It almost is. Sometimes I also do eat, soy-based products, but very, very rarely, because of the calorie density of those foods is too high. A lot of them are formulated to have the same fat contents and same salt and flavor profiles that you would get from the normal meat product. And so to emulate meat, they kind of create the same bad environment in plants of a plant-based processed food. So I try not to put that type of stuff into my body. Calorie density is too high, and we're going to go over what calorie density means over and over and over. Black beans, veggies, rice, hummus, nice green, bananas, pineapple, veggies, cinnamon or mint flavored, sweet potato. That's what I'm going to eat today. And actually, this is a good time to show you what I'm going to eat today. I'm going to eat here. I made these sweet potatoes, 2 of them. Delicious. I made this bowl of hummus. Delicious. Sauteed vegetables, steamed vegetables, delicious. Could have given it a stir, but a rice dish or rice to go with the vegetables. Vegetables and rice to me is still delicious, and mix them together. And here we have a delicious black bean soup. I'm preparing lunch and dinners. I'm going to eat this black bean soup. Has vegetables in it, peppers, leafy greens, onion, garlic, seasonings, and spices. This whole bowl here is 3-4 cups. And I'm probably going to eat some for lunch before I go to work. I'm going to put this down over here. So we have soups, rice, vegetables, beans, hummus. We had oatmeal for breakfast with some fruit. We're going to have some, it had an apple and pineapple chopped up into it. And I'll probably eat the same thing for lunch and dinner today. Were I not to do that, I have some rice and cabbage as a leftover. I can either make it into a mini meal or, when time I'm done with 2 sweet potatoes, all these vegetables, all that rice, that hummus, and the black bean soup, that's going to basically be my nutrients for the day with the added grains of that I had for breakfast. Absolutely delicious, large portions, never going to be hungry. People, you can eat a hamburger or you can eat something like this. 15 minutes was all I spent in the kitchen today to make all these products, which is why I will show you some of these techniques. I literally made all these products, including my oatmeal, within 15 minutes. A prep time, yes, took a little bit longer to cook on a stove, but all done within an hour. But 15 minutes of prep, and then I went about my day. Did it first thing in the morning. I have been on other diets and had success and failures with them. The Atkins diet, South Beast diet, Wheat Belly, Mediterranean diet, a juice diet, green juice diet. And with these diets, I always lose weight and I always put the weight back on. Why? Because I never changed the way I eat. I only went on a diet, calorie restriction. If you eat this way, count your calories, count your carbs, and keep it low this and low that. But then you have to do that for life. That's unsustainable to me. I cook anything I want from these food products. I eat as much as I want from these food products. Literally, sometimes I'm like, I overate, and I step on the scale and no change, went down. People are like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm not making this up. As much as I want, literally as much as I want. It's hard to overeat when you have low glycemic, not calorie dense foods. And I do stay low protein, which is all plant-based proteins, which are the plant-based amino acids, I should say. So I get all my amino acids from the plants. I don't eat meat. There's a reason for that, because you can have 2 ounces or 3 ounces of beef, and that's your protein equivalent for a healthy diet, right? 2 or 3 ounces of meat. But then if you eat plants, some potatoes and rice and this and that on top of it, you're getting more than what your body needs. Your body's overworking. Basically, there's lower levels of proteins or amino acids in the plants, so I can eat these high volumes, get all the amino acids I want without putting the extra strain on my kidneys. And what I've done worked. Yeah. Let's make sure I covered everything. Yeah, all those diets, they were short-term solutions. They always left me hungry. There was never snacking or limited snacking. You know, can have a piece of here, an apple there. I don't go into that. I just basically, my glycemic indexes were going up and down. I was getting hungry, not hungry. Had to eat during specific times, intermittent fasting. I don't do any of that. I don't. And I lost all this weight eating as much as I want. Eating as much as I want. People like, that can't be real. It is real. Carbs are important. You need them for fuel. You know, people like, well, the Atkins diet, you can live on that, blah, blah, blah. You can live off of ketones. Ketones are basically meant to keep you alive when your body is literally dying. Your cells are designed to eat carbohydrates. When there's a lack of carbohydrates in your blood, your body will start producing ketones as a way to save the cell from cellular death. You're on the verge of dying when your body is surviving off of ketones. Everyone goes into ketosis. Not everyone. If you eat late at night and eat first thing in the morning, your body may never actually go into ketosis. But most people eat dinner 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then they go and, you know, a couple hours they're awake and they go to sleep and they use up all the sugars in their blood, and their body goes into ketosis overnight to keep it alive. If your body did not have carbohydrates or ketones, you would die. But your body is designed to eat carbohydrates. That's what it wants. Ketones are produced when your body is burning fat for fuel. So you can go on an Atkins diet and find a healthy BMI, but you're never going to learn how to eat, and it's very unsustainable. And literally, you're keeping your body in an almost death mode. I would much rather eat the proper way and give it all the fuel it needs, and let my body go into that form, you know, naturally. And I basically can change my diet to eat whatever I want, whenever I want. And yes, I do go out to restaurants to eat. I said it's almost not supported, but I've learned how to go out to a restaurant. I go to Arby's, get baked potatoes, and things of that nature all the time, when they're available. I'm gonna let my dog out. Who let the dogs out? Woo, 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 woo. And there she is. Yeah, the optimal fuel is really carbohydrates. That's what the human body's been designed to eat. It's satiating. They're not simple sugars, right? I try to eat as many complex carbs, low density, high fiber, high in liquid. I stay away from the breads, but I do eat the rice, the corn, the quinoa, and I do eat the wheat. Yeah, that's what I do. Long-term ketosis isn't good. It's hard on the kidneys. If you're eating excess proteins, your body's kidney now has to filter out that extra protein. It's not recommended by physicians when your kidneys are failing or when you have low kidney function. They recommend instantly use a low-protein diet. So I guess, how do we proceed from here? I'm going to make videos specific to different diseases. I don't even know if this is ever going to go anywhere. I'd like to get some guests on here. If there's any physicians or people in healthcare that you guys would like to hear from, I'll reach out to them and try to get them on this channel. I have ways of streaming multiple people. We could have had a conversation here. I'd like to maybe bring in some guests of regular people within the community, how they eat or what their concerns are on healthcare and why changing their diet could be giving them their life back. Literally giving them their life back. In weeks, you can reverse the damage or the inability to process. Days to weeks for type 2 diabetes. You change your diet and you'll instantly start, not instantly, but within days to weeks, you'll be seeing benefits where you should be closely monitored if you're on medications to start changing, lowering, or eliminating those medications. Because you don't want to be properly functioning and, still. So it's going to be important to work with a physician if you already have ongoing examples. If you're planning on going to a physician for a follow-up, and it's 2 weeks out, you can make these changes instantly. And by the time you get there, he's going to be like, we need to lower this. We need to lower this. And you can talk about the diet. And maybe if they're on board, they'll be all about it. And if they're not, you might get an eye roll. But at the end of the day, you'll know the difference. You'll know the difference. You'll see your energy come back. I was almost crippled. I had no energy, no ability to even walk around the block. And that all changed when I changed my diet. The joint pain went away. The energy levels went up. And this isn't just because I was doing the walking. They went up and I was like, I need to walk because I have too much energy. It was not like the walking brought on the energy. The walking probably brought on a lot of different health benefits. And then from there, I started riding a bike. And at first it was difficult and, but as I got healthier, it just became easier and easier and easier. My body just has an insane amount of energy now. I'd like to get a feedback loop from the community. Just leave some comments or well done or thumbs up help. If you'd like to hear specific videos for any of your conditions, I'd happily give as much knowledge as I can. We're going to probably do some cooking examples. Cooking with Chef Effie could be very easily returned to health products, so that people know how to eat. You think about what you eat at home. I bet you make a list and it's less than 10 dishes that you eat on a regular basis. If you learned how to cook 10 dishes that you can eat on a regular basis that were plant-based, healthy for you, then you'd be doing the exact same thing. And then we just need to find you 10 dishes that are easy to make, that don't spend a ton of time and basically give you all these health benefits. You cut out the old dishes, you're bringing the new ones, and your body is suddenly healthy again. It's just that simple, guys. It really is just that simple. People don't know where to start. They don't. A lot of people don't even know how to cook. But it's simple. I'm telling you, I do not spend almost any time in the kitchen. 15 minutes and I'm walking away because the dishes I prepare are done within that time frame, or they're going to cook on their own, and just like the soup was. That literally was that, and everything I prepared here today was done in 15 minutes. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. I love you all. Just remember, I'm doing this for you. I hope this message gets out there. I hope people are on board and want to see more of this. If you do, like, comment, subscribe. I'd like to go over this. Probably if I'm not getting feedback loop, then this message isn't being taken. I don't really know. We're going to try. We're going to try our best, because I think there is a good need for people, not just of me, of other people out there. We need a community involvement in getting people to say, hey, listen, we had these problems and we fixed these problems. Or just saying, hey, this is how you avoid these problems. And the message is out there, but it's out there in a very small community. But because of the overwhelming system that we currently have in place with the physicians and our current healthcare system, that's literally crippling our country, there is change coming. The internet is a great equalizer. So I do love you all. I wish you happy and healthy day. Remember to smile. Take care. Guests. Need guest recommendations.